We're already a couple months into the cotton season, and Randy, where are we with Oklahoma cotton?
Well, Dave, we actually have probably the largest planted acres in the state since 1982, if we indeed believe the USDA National Ag Statistics Service numbers. They have us at 470,000 acres planted. That's way up from, what was it, let me cheat here, 215,000 planted in 2015, 305,000 planted last year, and 470,000 this year. So this is, if we indeed believe those numbers, we're sitting at about twice our, we would consider our long-term average.
And that's pretty amazing coming off of a couple years ago whenever there was barely any cotton planted in the state.
Well, our planted acres actually stayed up. It was our harvested acres that got clobbered. So, you know, I would say that we're probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about twice what we would normally see in terms of planted acres.
And the good thing is we actually have a little bit of moisture for the plants this year.
We are in fairly good shape in a lot of places. Of course, we probably have somewhere in the neighborhood of about 100,000 acres of irrigated cotton out of that 470, if we believe that number, and I keep saying that, right? So that means that we have a lot more dryland acres. And of course, as we get into late July and move on into August, of course, that precipitation for the dryland becomes extremely critical. And unfortunately, way too many times in my life, I've watched dryland cotton go through a lot of stress and be very disappointing at the end of the year, but we're going to be optimistic that this year we're going to be able to make some things happen.
And actually, there's water in the lake this year.
Yes, indeed. We really didn't have an opportunity to put it over the spillway like we've done for the past couple of years, but we are sitting right now, I believe, with the upper 70s in terms of percent in the Lake Lugert, and so that's outstanding. We should have enough water in the lake to pretty much make a very, very good crop this year, assuming we don't get into any other significant weather factors.
Where are we with the actual growth of the plant right now?
We really have a lot of variability out there. It depends on planting date. We had some cotton in the state that was planted probably early May. So this field right here was planted May the 10th. We actually had a lot of dry land that was planted probably as late as June 20th, depending upon which county. So we have the crops probably planted somewhere in the neighborhood of scattered out over about 30, 40 days for sure. Dry land, most of the time, a lot of growers, especially in Tillman County, they like to see that planting date pushed back a little bit later. As we go further north, maybe up into Ouachita County, they don't like to do that.
Now, we're on actually the west side of Altus right now, but you also have a field you want to show us on the east side.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's go see that.
So Randy, here we are on the east side of Altus. What do we see in this field?
This particular field right here is another variety trial, large plot variety trial that we have with Abernathy Farms, Clint Abernathy and his sons.
And speaking of new acres, a lot of the new acres are going to be on dry land. This is also irrigated, but what are we seeing in the dryland cotton?
We really have a very significant mixed bag. As we look at where the rainfall came during the months of, say, April, May, and June, maybe the last 60 or 70 days, something like that, we really had some areas out in the northwest area, Beckham County and Greer County, Ouachita County, up in there, they actually had not as much rainfall up there. And so a lot of that cotton that was planted really kind of struggled to make a stand.
So there's always concern for boll weevils in the industry. What do you think we'll be finding here?
Dave, we have actually been what we would consider eradicated in the state of Oklahoma now for several years. Right. We have actually not trapped a boll weevil one in the state for several years. So, and I don't know, for those folks that don't understand what's going on with boll weevils, right, and you know, that is a very insidious pest. It's an invasive species from Mexico. Thank goodness in the 1990s we actually had a lot of technological breakthroughs. A trapping system was designed.
And actually one of the tools that you have to help spread the word about cotton news is the newsletter you guys produce.
That newsletter is also available on our websites, including the cotton.okstate.edu website.
Well, that's really interesting, and we'll actually put a link to all that information on our website, sunup.okstate.edu.